Hey everybody, I hope you're ready to do some math today because we're going to be taking a dive into linear equations. So, some things we're going to be focusing on are understanding linear equations. So, anyone can sit around and crunch numbers, but in order to fully grasp what a linear equation is, it's important to know more than just solving for a variable. However, when we're solving, we're going to be applying the balance method, which we will take a closer look at. And last of all, we're going to be solving step by step. Over here, I provided a picture of the difference between an equation and an expression. When we have an equation, we have an expression set equal to some constant value. And when we have an expression, we're simply looking at just the expression area, 7x minus 5. So, we're going to start by evaluating the equation 7x minus 5 equals 9. And in order to do that, we have to first isolate the variable. You're probably asking yourself, how do we do this? So we have to take advantage of our inverse operations and add 5 to both sides to cancel out the 5 on the side with the variable. When we add 5 to both sides, that cancels out the 5 and adds 5 to 9, which gives us 7x equals 14. We call this isolating the variable since one side of the equation now has a variable and the other now only has a constant. Step number 2 is to get x by itself. How are we going to do this? So after our previous step, we are now left with 7x equals 14. In order to get x alone, we now have to divide both sides by the number that is attached to x, which in this case would be 7. So when we divide 7 by 7, we're left with 1 times x, which is just x, and 14 over 7 becomes 2. So therefore, x equals 2. But wait, there's more. Since we know that x equals 2, couldn't we substitute 2 in for x and check that the sides equal each other and make sure our answer is right? Plugging 2 in for x in the original equation, we get 7 times 2 minus 5 equals 9. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 minus 5 is 9. So therefore, 9 equals 9. What if we have a fraction? We're now going to take a look at the equation 1/5 x plus 3 equals 10. I want you guys to go ahead and try and do this on your own, taking advantage of the steps we went over earlier. So how exactly are we going to solve this equation? Do not fear, the reciprocal is here. So what is the reciprocal? When we have 1/5 x plus 3 equals 10, we balance the variable on one side like before by subtracting 3. We are now left with 1/5 x equals 7. By dividing by 1/5, we're really multiplying by the reciprocal 5. The reciprocal just means we're taking the bottom of the fraction and putting it on top, and the top of the fraction and putting it on the bottom, leaving us with 5 over 1, which is just 5. By doing that, we're going to multiply the fraction and cancel it out to create 1. And 1 times x is just x. And then we have 7 times 5 on the other side, because what you do to one side, you must do to the other. This leaves us with x equals 35. What are we really doing here, though? You're probably sitting here thinking, what does this even mean? Thinking back on the general form of an equation, y equals mx plus b, any input value of x will give you an output value of y. When we solve 1/5 x plus 3 equals 10 and found that x equals 35, that really corresponds to a point on the graph of y equals 1/5 x plus 3. Over here, I provided a picture for you guys to show that when we plug 35 in, y is indeed 10. Last of all, I want you guys to try to explain this to a friend or family. Awesome work today, everybody. Remember that solving a linear equation is all about isolating the variable and using your inverse operations to solve. Keep up the great work, and I will see you all next time. And I've also included a picture of you next time you have to solve a difficult linear equation. Have a good day, everybody, and continue doing your math.